So, Governor, do you recognize this picture?
I do recognize the picture.
Briefly describe it to us. What is it? What's going on?
These were folks, I believe the people in the picture now are incarcerated in Minnesota.
It's a precinct 3 burning down because of your decision. Was this a peaceful protest? Was this a peaceful protest?
The gentleman standing there?
Was this a peaceful protest?
It was a criminal act that people were prosecuted for.
So it wasn't a peaceful protest, right?
You won't believe the intense moment that unfolded during the House Oversight Committee hearing. Representative Pete Stauber, who spent more than 2 decades serving as a police officer, strongly challenged Minnesota Governor Tim Walz throughout the exchange. The discussion touched on the destruction of a police precinct during the unrest, controversial comparisons involving law enforcement, and eventually moved into deeply personal territory. Stauber confronted the governor over accusations connected to military service claims, pointing to records and past statements during the hearing. If issues like accountability, public service, and law and order matter to you, this is a debate you'll want to see. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, Governor Walz. Thanks for being here today. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I ask you to keep your remarks brief. I got a lot to go through. As you know, I spent 23 years as a law enforcement officer in the state of Minnesota. You know that, right? Do you know that, yes or no?
I don't know how many.
It's not a trick question.
I don't know.
I'll answer it for you. 23 years in Duluth.
Thank you for that.
So, Governor, do you recognize this picture?
I do recognize the picture.
Briefly describe it to us. What is it? What's going on?
These were folks, I believe the people in the picture now are incarcerated in Minnesota.
It's a precinct 3 burning down because of your decision. Was this a peaceful protest? Was this a peaceful protest?
The gentleman standing there?
Was this a peaceful protest?
It was a criminal act that people were prosecuted for.
So it wasn't a peaceful protest, right? As I watched lawlessness devastate Los Angeles this past week, I was reminded of your failure to protect Minnesota from similar riots. Governor Walz, on May 29th of 2020, during your own press conference, you described your response to the riots during the 2020 Summer of Love as, quote, an abject failure. Governor, I couldn't agree with you more.
That's out of context.
And on May 17th, 2025, you were at the law school, graduating Minnesota Law School, talking to the graduates. And we've talked about this. You called the enforcement of illegal immigrants a modern-day Gestapo. You've been asked 3-4 times if you would rescind that, and you won't. Will you rescind it? This is like the 5th time, yes or no?
Congressman, I was talking to law students about due process, and I said
you
took an oath to due process.
Governor, was there a violent al-Shabaab terrorist who entered our country illegally, arrested in Minneapolis last year? Yes, there was. Were there 3 illegal child predators arrested by ICE in St. Paul earlier this year?
I certainly hope so. That's their job.
Yes, there was. Are the officers who arrested the al-Shabaab terrorists or the child predators, are they Nazis or the Gestapo?
The tactics of wearing
They're
masks.
not.
The tactics of wearing masks.
Unidentified. Why did you tell us that they were the Gestapo? Do you believe that any of the violent illegal immigrants I have mentioned have a right to be in this country?
I don't know what their immigration status was.
They're illegal, violent criminals that the ICE took off the streets of Minneapolis.
You did not say, Congressman, what their status was.
Governor, last week, law enforcement officers in the state of Minnesota took 900 pounds of meth off the streets. Do you support that?
We certainly do.
Do you know that ICE assisted in that arrest, those arrests and investigations? Do you support the assistance of ICE in that enforcement action? Yes or no?
I can't speak to that because we were not included in the briefing.
You don't know if ICE was part of it? I'm telling you they were.
I don't have that data. I would have to trust you.
Will you apologize to our constituents and law enforcement officers for making them and their families less safe with your incendiary actions?
I'll congratulate them that they helped us work on the largest pension bill for
Governor.
Minnesota law enforcement in
Governor.
in 30 years.
Claiming my time. Governor, what weapons did you carry in war?
Congressman, for 24 years, I carried.
No. What weapons did you carry in war?
What did you carry in
What did?
uniform?
I
You
tell you
know I
what, Governor,
misspoke.
you're
You know I
barking down the
misspoke.
wrong tree, okay?
You know I
You
misspoke.
lied to the Minnesotans. You said that you carried weapons in war.
Mr.
That is
Chairman.
stolen valor. You know what? My wife
Yeah,
served 25,
Mr. Chairman,
24 years in the
a
little bit of
military,
respect for the
and
witness.
she's an Iraq war veteran.
You know what I mean?
She was
This is
over in the,
hectoring. It's
in,
not-
in the war
not-
zone. That's
On a
stolen
point of-
valor, and I'm so
point of order,
disgusted with
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
And so are the people that you served
Point
with.
of order.
Point of order.
That's
Halt,
stolen valor.
just a minute. State
Stolen
point.
valor.
Mr.
You didn't
Chairman,
carry weapons
that's
in
not questioning
war.
the witness.
Congressman, my 24 years was
That's not-
public
Will
for
you
many, many
apologize
years.
for lying?
Objection.
Will you
No, I misspoke.
apologize for lying?
Objection.
Hold on, pause.
That's not questioning a witness. That's not questioning a witness. You think
Point of
so, huh?
order. State your point, Mr. Rinkelmann.
No, you're
State
yelling
your
at him.
point.
You're
There we
hectoring.
go.
You're hectoring. You're hectoring. You're hectoring.
State your
Governor,
point.
you didn't carry
That's
weapons
not-
in war, did you?
State your point.
You didn't
Proceed.
carry weapons
You got
in
24
war,
seconds.
did you?
Congressman, you know I
didn't carry
misspoke.
weapons in war, yes or no?
you.
You lied. Governor, what rank did you retire at?
I
What rank
served,
did you retire at?
Congressman, I served my battalion as the command sergeant
That's
major.
not the question
and for
I asked.
pay-
What rank did you retire at?
I retired as a master sergeant in
Okay,
EA.
here's your coin that says you retired at a command sergeant major. That's
Says
your
I wore
challenge
that.
coin.
It
This
says
is-
I wore the rank.
This is that's right. You didn't retire, did you?
I did
Stolen
retire after
valor.
24 years.
Here is a picture of your coin, your challenge
Jesus
coin.
Christ.
I'm disgusted with you. I'm just, Governor,
Chairman, the
you
time
lie
has
when the
expired.
truth-
Congressman,
you lie when the truth
Gentleman's
is
time's
better.
expired.
You called half Trump supporters Nazis and fascists, and you know what? That's why the Minnesota Police and Peace Association did not support you in the last election because
Well,
you're
I
missing
support
in
them.
action.
Gentleman's time's expired.
On behalf of the folks from the land of rocks and cows, thank you. Now you go back.
Chair recognizes Ms. Tenney from New York.
Governor Tim Walz faced intense questioning during a heated House oversight committee exchange with Representative Pete Stauber. Throughout the hearing, Stauber strongly challenged several of Walz's statements and decisions, creating a tense atmosphere that quickly drew attention. A major part of the discussion focused on the events surrounding the unrest in 2020, including the destruction of the 3rd Precinct building. Stauber argued that the situation reflected serious failures in leadership and public safety, while Walz maintained that some criticisms and quotes were being presented without full context. The disagreement led to a sharp debate over how the events should be viewed and remembered. The hearing also touched on controversial remarks involving ICE agents and law enforcement comparisons, which became another major point of confrontation between the two men. Stauber repeatedly questioned those comments, while Walz defended his position during the exchange. Later in the discussion, attention shifted toward Walz's military background and public comments. Connected to his service history, Stauber raised concerns about how certain titles and experiences had been described publicly, while supporters of Walz have defended his overall military career and record of service. By the end of the hearing, both sides remained firm in their positions, and the confrontation became one of the most talked about moments from the session. Viewers watching the exchange were left debating who delivered the stronger argument and whether the hearing revealed deeper political divisions over leadership, accountability, and public trust.